Alright guys, back again here today at VetteSource, where we are going to take a look at our 2004 Yukon 2500 XL that we installed the marine crate engine in here. If you'll remember, you've been with me at the beginning of the summer, I had getting close to the final steps of putting this engine in this Yukon, and now that we've had it in here for the summer, I believe in the third week of June, we got this running under its own power. And I spent the rest of the summer going ahead and road testing and doing some shakedown runs on it to make sure that it was going to operate okay. Now, for a little bit more history on this, if you're the first time you've been with me, I picked this up a few years ago as a abandoned, it was a new car trade-in, then sold at wholesale just because it had more miles on it. And then after trading in, I guess the wholesaler or the motor blew up on them. Something happened and they dropped the rod, #1 rod, probably starved it of oil. Went through the auctions where it went through a couple of people, and then the last guy that had it before me was going to try to convert this 8.1 3/4 ton Yukon into a Duraburb or Dura Yukon with a Duramax conversion. Realized it was going to be hard, and he decided he was going to part it out, which probably wasn't the best choice. I got involved with it because I was looking for parts for one of my other 8.1 trucks, a 2002 dually that I put back together. So we struck a deal. I dragged this home, and then, as fortune would have it, I located a brand new in the crate marine engine, 8.1 marine engine from 2001 production date. And we spent the last couple of years fiddling around and playing with it and putting it in this one. So you can see, if you haven't viewed these videos before, I got a playlist with all these videos in here showing what I had to do to get this thing to work in here. It really wasn't much other than obviously the oil pan, the oil pump, and the pickup tube, and timing chain cover, and the timing gears as a phasing on the timing was different on the marine engine, and the timing cover was different. The sensor, the cam sensor, was different between the two. But once we got this in here and everything hooked up, it fired right up without a beat. I did have to change the, I want to say, oh yes, it had different spark plug wires on it too. So I had to go ahead and buy a new set of spark plug wires for it and change those. Other than that, we've put about 3,000 miles on this thing. The only thing I have lingering right now is a aggravating NOx sensor signal that's given me between NOx sensor 1 and 2, which I'm sure that's just the harness, as it was brand new NOx sensors in there. So as you can see, you can jump right in here. It'll fire right up. Idles well, doesn't overheat, good oil pressure, good temperature. We have driven it probably, let's see, I went to Louisiana in it, picked up a car, towed a car back with it, was really impressed. As you can see, we got about 60 pounds of oil pressure at idle, cold, and temperature runs right about 210 where it's supposed to. So most of our summer, the last 2.5 months or so, has been spent obviously getting new tires on it, cleaning it back up. We've had some failures of typical window regulators that failed on it. I went ahead and put a new starter on it just because the older starter was starting to drag on it a little bit, and I wasn't thrilled with the way it was behaving. Gosh, I'm trying to think. I know I did a few other things on here, but it really was pretty insignificant in the whole course of the matter. Of course, we put a new battery in this thing just so we have fresh battery. I went ahead, for some reason, these factory power extending tow mirrors were taken off it. This truck came with them, so I went ahead and put another set back on there again. We got a new windshield we just put in it. I gotta fix these, that's cosmetic stuff. I gotta fix this seat cushion here and the cover. Also, another thing this does, these Yukon and Suburbans have a habit of the seat module will mess up. So once you kick it forward all the way, it just stops and won't go back. So I disconnected that, put the seat in a comfortable position. But you can see overall this thing came out very good. Now, I know one of the big things people are probably going to ask is, how did we end up on fuel mileage? The fuel mileage on this is actually really not bad given. When I went on my trip out to Louisiana, with the trailer empty, this trailer right here, which weighs about 2,500 pounds, I managed to get around 13 miles to the gallon average on the way out there. Of course, it's a flat stretch from here where I'm at in Louisiana. There's not any hills or anything. Now on the way back towing, it got back to what I'm typically used to, is our 10 miles per gallon on these big blocks, which is okay. You know, I mean, you're expecting that's going to happen. You're trading off some of the complexity and the cost of a diesel for the gas engine. You're going to give up something one way or the other, right? Now, it's been kind of funny. I have had a few of the truck guys notice, confused by the 8-lug axles on this. And then when I show them this actually has an 8.1, they're even more surprised, because this is still like the worst kept secret, but it's still, people don't realize that they installed these engines in here. Now, one other thing about this marine engine, it has, you know, I go to different ways, and a lot of this has gotten lost to time, different references, but the factory, I think, on this on an 04 is 325 horsepower. This has about 345 to 350. And I will say, for a 7,000 pound Yukon, this thing will get up and go if it's not loaded down. And essentially it's just a 3/4 ton. There's no 2-inch body raise on this like there is on the trucks, so you don't have as much room. This runs at 485 behind it with the 14-bolt corporate rear end. You can probably see it right there. And this had the auto ride, but I haven't found the correct shocks for it yet. I'm gonna see if I can get some correct shocks to get those back on there. So when it's empty, it will run and bounce around a little bit like a 3/4 ton you would expect. But other than that, it's extremely comfortable. It's not, doesn't wander on the road. It's pretty much straight. In fact, I let my teenager drive this all the way to, again, Louisiana border the day before yesterday, and it was a very easy drive for them, even be a youthful driver, and not a lot of scary moments, you know. So overall, I'm very happy with the way this came out. I've got a few more cosmetic issues to take care of on this, namely these things. I don't really like these, but they're on there and they keep the sun out. And then, of course, they had a tire blowout over here, so that's why this paint's messed up too. You can see the tire was just flapping against it, hitting it. And but this Yukon, for some reason, these Yukons had these very skinny fender flares versus the bigger ones that you see on the Chevys. So finding one of these has been a little bit more challenging. I think I'm gonna have to go out of state to a salvage yard out there. And then the other thing too is that they must have, because at one time I know a woman owned this. She must have backed this into something. So I'm going to have that pulled and then repaint that quarter panel. But again, that's cosmetic stuff. I'm not horribly worried about it because it does its job very well. Now you can see also, this is our engine that we pulled out. And now, odd thing is that from my understanding, the later 8.1s are supposed to be 2-bolt mains, but this is still a 4-bolt main block. And you can see where they dropped that #1 rod. I actually just ripped the bolt right out of it, and now it's stuck jammed in this corner. I'm going to take this apart. I think that I should be able to save this block. Maybe the crank, we'll see. The interesting thing is I actually have now, I haven't really mentioned it yet, but I do have yet another 8.1 truck that I discovered several months back, and it's an even cooler, and it's another GMC, it's a Sierra, but it's another 04 like that one. So I have this motor, I have this engine here out of another 01, and then I have 2 more engines in the other 2 8.1s. So we will get to those trucks here shortly. I've got to get a few body parts for that Sierra. The Sierra is actually pretty cool. It's a 4x4 SLE, fully loaded, that was left abandoned in the field. And in fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. If you look up at the top of the video, you'll see a link to that that video up there that I made for that truck. And we'll see about how we can get that one back together again. But yeah, I'm very happy with this. Like I said, I may go ahead and do a few front suspension items on this truck. I've got to fix this body ground right here. But other than that, we're just going to drive this thing. There's really not much left to do on it. It'll be routine, normal maintenance items that we take care of. So really happy. Again, me being, you know, I go around professing it like part of my religion. These two series of trucks, right? The GMT 400s and these GMT 800s, in my mind, are probably the best trucks GM ever made. Now, I'm not going to claim they're better than the others. I don't want to get in an argument because I know the other trucks have some good qualities. But these two series of trucks are dead reliable most of the time, comfortable, and now that they're 20, 25 years old, they still are be able to use them for daily drivers. So it's a really good mix for sure. And it keeps you from spending a whole lot of money. With this one here, I'm probably into this truck. With everything I want to do and fix and upgrade, I'll be into this by the time it's over for about $13,000, I think. Because I did pay a little bit more for it because it was clean without rust or anything. Being a Southern truck, and I knew the quality of it. So I was willing to invest the money in it because I knew this will last me for another 20, 25 years. Or at least till they're carting me off to the retirement home, you know. So, alright, that's going to wrap things up today. I'll be back soon with some more of our Corvette videos, simply because we're going to get caught up back here and work on some stuff. I got another one hiding under the trailer here, another car back there. So we'll keep this going. Appreciate everybody watching, and have a good weekend. Thanks, guys.